Hey, friends. Hope everyone is doing well. I know. It's been a few weeks. Actually, it's been more like 2 months, something like that. I don't remember exactly how long, but it's been a while. So, this week that I'm planning right now is the week ending March 29th. Yes, I am behind. Trying to catch them up though. Um, you're going to see very shortly here that I start covering those boxes. And then it's going to blink out because I paused it while I covered them all because nobody wants to watch that. And yeah, so there it was. And for some strange reason, this second video is much brighter. Might have to adjust that in the settings. But anyway, I am here. I am planning. This is our Flower Power collection. It was one of our spring kits from this year. And it was actually a re-release of an old kit because I loved it so much. Excuse my voice because I did actually lose it for a few days, which is why I filmed this on Monday, but it is now Saturday, and I'm just finally voicing it over because my voice is just finally back enough to be able to do so, even though I still sound kind of ugh. So yeah, so what's everybody been up to? It's been a while. Between PBC and everything, I've just been so busy. Yeah. And I'm finally at a point where I can breathe a little bit and have some time to do some fun things. And whatever I just did to adjust the camera there made it even more crooked. There we go. I think I paused it to try to figure out why it was so crooked. And you see my little stenciling supplies there? Yes, I am very excited. I actually stenciled in my planner for the first time this week, and it actually turned out pretty good. I did it twice. Excuse me, I had to drink some coffee there because it is 12:30, but I'm just waking up. So yeah, wow. See, I took a drink of coffee, lost my train of thought. This is what happens when you get over 50. You start to forget shit. Anyway, so here I am trying to decide what I want to use. And I actually am really, the stenciling, that's what it was. I love how it turned out. So now I'm like, I need to go back to Courtney's website and order some more stencils because now that I've done it, I want to do more of it. So I need to get more stencils. I have a few, but a lot of them are very specific to things. So I need to check out her website and see what kind of stuff she has that I could like reuse over and over again. Because I think that's the kind of stuff I'm going to want to get. In fact, while I'm chatting with y'all, I'm going to go check out her website and see what she's got. I will link her website in the box below. So if you like how it turned out and you want to try it in your planner, you can go check out our website. The inks that I'm going to be using are Tim Holtz Distress inks in the colors Peacock Feather, Spun Sugar, and I think Marigold something. I don't remember exactly the names of them. I know the two of them, but it's the orange one I'm not sure of. I think it's called Marigold something. I would have to get up to tell you for sure. So yeah. But they it turns out so cute. And the little brushes there are from Amazon. I have like 40 different ink colors. Courtney was generous enough, since we are buddies, to send me little samples of all of the colors that she had so I could see which ones I might like and want to invest in myself. Those inks are not cheap. They're like $3.99 for a small one. So I was like, what if I don't like stenciling? So she was generous enough to help me out on that one. And now that I know I love stenciling, I will definitely start collecting little refill inks so that I can keep refilling the little samples that she sent me. Because, yeah, I definitely can see myself doing more of the stenciling every week. So, yes. And the brushes, like I said, those are from Amazon. And you can see how there's a number on the brush. because I wanted to have one brush for each color ink that I had to number all of the inks and then number all the brushes. So I knew which ones go together. I thought that was extremely clever of myself because you can clean the brushes as best as you can. I use a baby wipe, same thing I use to wipe down the stencils when I'm done. But it will start staining them after a while. And like it would bother me to be using a stencil that's stained, like, for example, blue with a pink ink. Like it would drive me crazy. That's my little bit of OCD kicking in there. But anywho, it looks like I'm about done adding all of these corners and stuff. So here's where I'm going to do the stenciling. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen this, albeit very sped up, because I am slow as hell and it takes me a while to do this. And this video is on double speed. So imagine what it would be like if it were not on double speed. I would be slow as shit. And then I realized it's crooked and I'm going to take it off. I decided to do a 3-color kind of like gradient thing happening. I had no problem with the orange marigold color and I had no problem with the peacock one, but you're going to see I'm struggle a little bit with the spun sugar. These containers are actually not super great. I did not order very good ones when I sent them to her. I should have, because I don't know that they're completely airproof. Because I've never used any of these, and yet you'll see that the spun sugar, I really struggled to get enough ink out to actually be able to see it. It is a light color, but I think it was also even just that the ink was starting to dry out or something. Because look at how many times I have to tap this and how light the color is. So I think that would probably be the very first one that I would have to order a refill of, because yeah, it's drying out a little bit. But the other 2 colors were absolutely perfect and I had no problem with them. So I think either I'm stupid and it's just a lighter pink than I think, and that's why I had to use more and I should have used a darker pink, or this one was already starting to dry out. And so, yeah. But again, freaking adore how they turned out. And look at how dark the peacock feathers was. That one I had no problem with. I think my biggest challenge right now is getting the getting it even, because you'll see here, you can even see it before I take the stencil off. There are definitely some spots that are darker than others. And even though I went back over it with the brush afterwards with like no ink on it to try to blend, this particular ink, I guess, soaks into the paper very fast because I wasn't able to do a whole lot of blending once it had started to dry. It dries very quickly. Like when I pulled the stencil off, the ink was pretty much dry already, which is good. That's what you want, especially in a planner, but it meant that I couldn't blend it very well. So I definitely have to practice with that. And then after I realized that I'm a dumbass and I should have did like half the flower, like half off the page or something, because when it came time to lay my stickers down, I didn't want to cover the flower because it was so pretty. The good thing is I purposely did it on Wednesday of that week because I did not do very much on Wednesday other than work. So I didn't have very much to put on there. So I didn't have to cover very much of it, but look at that. Look how gorgeous that turned out. And I do end up stenciling on one more page too, but that was the one I did right away because I wanted to make sure it had time to dry, which I didn't even need to do because it was perfectly dry already by the time I took the stencil off. So now I'm going to actually start laying down my stickers. Just needed to get my tweezers out and scissors because I almost always need them. And for this week, I decided to use my small day circles rather than using the date covers that come with the journaling kit, because I really like how the circles look on the top thing there. And, I like to change things up a little bit. And I believe the last 2 weeks that I did, I used the regular date cover. So I was like, let's change this up. And I struggled with this one because when I pulled her little toothless weather tracker off the little sheet there, I bent her legs by accident. So now it looks like she has no legs. Yeah. And I'm also zoomed out a little further than usual. So I hope y'all can see. I might try to see if I can, once I'm done recording, see if I can zoom it in a little bit without losing too much. Because, yeah, I don't know why I was zoomed out so far. Like you can even see my lamp there a little bit on the left side and normally, and on the right side actually, and normally you can't. So I'm hoping that y'all can even see what I'm doing because I am, like I said, zoomed out further than normal. So I'm checking out Courtney's website while we're chatting here, and I'm seeing a lot of things that could be very basic, like, you know, she's got background ones with like little dots and stuff that you could use on the background of the page. She just released a ton of summer ones, stuff like boating and things like that. Ooh, look at this. She's even got a Northern Lights one, two actually. Those are super cool. So definitely something that you could use so many times. I have one that has like little stars on it that I got specifically to use for the week that I use my Best Day Ever Rapunzel collection, because those little stars that are on the background are almost exactly the same stars that are in my stickers for that collection. So I'm like very excited to use that one. The next week that I'm going to be planning is actually Easter, so I won't be able to use it for that one. But the very next week after that, I'm going to use that collection because I want to use that stencil. Anyway, so here I am laying down my stickers for Monday. This week, I did not do a lot. So you're going to see a lot of layering and big stickers because I was trying to fill up space. I keep forgetting, and I need to remember to like take at least one picture every single day of something that I did that day so that I have pictures for it in my planner, because that's the whole point in memory journaling. Because, you know, I want to be able to remember things and I'm forgetting to take pictures. So that's my bad. I need to remember to do that. But it looks like that day I just mostly worked. You know what? I'm going to pull, when I'm doing the voiceover, my view of what I'm looking at is very small. So it's helpful for me to have my planner open so that I can kind of see what I'm putting down, since I can't really see it very well on the screen. So let me just pop that open. Yeah, I mostly just, I did record a voiceover. I uploaded a video to YouTube. So that was the last time I uploaded a video to YouTube, on March 23rd. So no, that can't be right. 2 months? Has it been that long? Let me look back at my planner and see if I did any more, because wow. Hold on. Okay, so that's that one. And then, oh, well, it looks like, yeah, holy cow. Actually, no, it looks like at the end of this week on Sunday, I'm going to voice another plan with me, which means the next week I definitely uploaded one. And then I think that might be the last one. I'm scanning back, and yeah, I think that's the last one I did, because then I got very busy with PBC stuff. Wow, I kind of suck. Someday I'll get better at social media and remembering to do these things. I'm trying. I am trying. It's just tough. Okay, Tuesday. What are we up to here? Did not do very much on Tuesday. I literally only had 2 stickers of things I did. So I definitely filled it in with like some random things. I hate Trump stickers mostly, it looks like. And I did a lot of deco stickers on this week because, again, I didn't really have a whole lot to put in here, but I didn't want to just not do anything. So instead, I just used a lot of deco and layering and the stenciling just to try to, fill in some space on things. Like for example, when we get to Friday, I literally only had 2 stickers for that day. Looks like Saturday and Sunday were busier. I have more stickers on those days than pretty much any other day. But yeah, it was a quiet week other than work, obviously, because I work 10, 12 hours every single day. I work a lot and my boss is a bitch and she doesn't let me take days off. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. I'm the boss. I don't let myself take time off very often. I'm the problem. It's me. I shouldn't sing because I'm terrible at it. So anyway, back to Courtney's page to see if I see any other fun things. I do have like her friendship builder ones, friendship bracelet builder ones, because they have like numbers and things like that on them that you could use for pretty much anything. And I'm seeing some really cute ones here that would go really well with like my eras sticker collection of my characters in their eras outfit. Like she has some birch tree ones that would look so good with the folklore ones. She is a huge Swiftie, so probably a good number of her stencils are things that could definitely be used for eras stuff. Oh my god, sorry, I like blanking out. And then she has some like my splashes, or not my splashes, my ink smears. But like you use actual ink. So I have those. So I definitely need to start like incorporating those. Those would be fun. And yeah, like I said, this was the first time I really used it in my planner. So I didn't do a lot because I was like, let's see how this goes. Let's see how it turns out. Because I'm always nervous, when I'm doing something new. And wow, I am babbling so much more than usual. Because this week was so long ago, I don't really remember a whole lot about it and what I did that week. So it's like, I have to babble about stupid nonsense. Yeah, see what I mean? On Wednesday, literally, I only had 2 stickers. I refill water bottles. I haven't laid them down yet, but refill water bottles and then work. Cut foil, and that's it. And that's all I had for that entire day. So I think this was when I was trying to finish up the birthday orders because it is at the end of March. So yeah, that's probably what it was. I was trying to finish up the birthday orders. And yeah, see, just not a lot. And there's why I needed my scissors to make sure I could trim things off. Yeah. I was struggling so much with trying to get these all laid out. You'll notice that a lot of the days this week even have 2 of like the quote stickers that go with the collection, just because, again, I was trying to use up space. Oh, sorry, my nose is itchy. The allergies are killing me, you guys. We haven't started our rainy season yet, which means everything is very dry, which means the allergies are killing me. Our rainy season usually starts between now and June 1st. We did have some nice rainstorms on Sunday and Monday, and then nothing since. And when I looked at the count or the thing for like the next week, there was hardly any rain on there at all. See, I had pulled the sticker to put on that page, but then I was like, I don't want to cover the flower. So I just ended up not using it because I didn't want to cover the flower. So next time I need to put like the flower like half off the page or something. This way it will be easier to not cover. Because it turned out so cute, I was like, I don't want to put stickers over this. And then moving on to Thursday. Again, I didn't do a ton, but I did do more than the last day. And I'll talk about it before I get to it, but I'm going to do a little bit of journaling on this page. That night, I mean, it could have gone on Friday because it was literally like 2 in the morning, but it was 2 in the morning, like Thursday night into Friday. So I opted to put it on Thursday. But I woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and I had the worst pain. And I have had my gallbladder out. So I know what gallbladder pain feels like. And y'all, it felt like a gallbladder attack. I was in so much pain. And it took hours to go away. And it was weird because it was almost like contractions, like it was coming and going. I would be like, oh, finally it's gone. And I would lay down. And 10 minutes later, the pain would be back again. And the only thing that even made it somewhat tolerable was like getting up and walking around. It didn't really help at all, but it was better than laying down. The pain was much worse when I was laying down. So I would be almost asleep and then I would have to get up and walk around. And it was just like, oh my God, what is going on here? I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's possible to have a gallbladder attack when you don't have a gallbladder. That is literally what it felt like. That's the only way I can think of to describe it because it literally felt exactly like a gallbladder attack. And Gary actually wanted to take me to the hospital because I was in so much pain. I was literally like at one point curled up on the couch crying. And he was like, if this doesn't go away within, I think he gave me like an hour, I'm taking you to the hospital. And I forgot to mute my notifications. So sorry about those beeping noises. If I swipe to mute them now, it's going to stop my voiceover. So we're going to have to just deal with them. Anyway, it was very shortly before my cutoff that it finally started to die down. Like they were still coming in waves, but the waves were much smaller. I was able to tolerate them. And then within like the next hour after that, it was completely gone. So I was awake from probably like, I think it first started really around 1:30 or so, but it was 2 o'clock when I actually got out of bed and started walking around. And I was back in bed by about 4, so a couple of hours. And the worst part about it is that we were going to Universal the next day and we were supposed to get up early and go in the morning. And because I was up for, hours in the middle of the night and didn't fall back asleep till 4 a.m., we ended up oversleeping. So we didn't end up going over to Universal till more like noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And by then it started to get busy. So that kind of sucked. And we also didn't realize until after we were already there that there was, we forgot that starting in March and running until pretty much about now, the field trips start. In Florida, it is very common for the older kids, like middle schoolers, high schoolers, to have field trips to the Universal parks and Disney. Although Disney is usually the younger crowd, like Lucas actually had a field trip to Epcot in 3rd grade. Or 2nd grade? 2nd grade, I think it was actually, because 3rd grade, they did not do their field trips because of COVID happening. So it must have been 2nd grade. Or if it was 3rd grade, it was like the beginning of the school year and not the end of the school year. Either way, I know we had a field trip to Epcot. And 4th graders were actually supposed to go to Animal Kingdom. But they had not brought field trips back when he was in 4th grade because he actually did the first half of 4th grade virtually, which was not working out great for him. So he actually did go back for the second half of 4th grade to in person, but they still were not doing field trips. In fact, I don't even think they were doing them in 5th grade either, now that I think about it. So he kind of missed out on a bunch of fun field trips that they usually do. And yeah, so anyway, the field trips, I mean, we went in there and the amount of matching t-shirts that we saw because kids were on field trips was crazy. So we actually ended up not doing very much. You'll see when I put my little, journaling that we literally only rode Velocicoaster, Hulk, and Hagrid's, and that was about it. Just because it was so crowded. And here is where I decided I wanted to do another stencil. So I have these boxes from her that look like postage stamps. And it's funny because not funny, but it's cool because she includes both the outside and the inside. So like you could put the inside down and stencil around it, or you can put this, like what I did here, and stencil inside of it. On this one, I opted to stencil inside of it instead of outside of it because I already had stickers laid down. But yeah, I thought that was super cool. And I had absolutely no problem writing right over the ink with my pen. And again, I did it like right after I was stenciling. So these inks definitely dry really fast. And I did notice that this one was a little less blotchy than the last one. So apparently I was already getting better at it. Because even now when I look at it in my planner, it looks pretty even. Like there's a couple spots in the corners that are a little lighter than others. But mostly it was definitely a little blended better than the last one that I did. Plus, again, once you write over it, it kind of, if there are any blotches, it kind of hides it a little bit. So, oh, excuse me. Oh, it's been some crazy, crazy week this week. I'll briefly touch on it now, and obviously I'll talk about it more when I plan this week. But my son actually had 2 different tests this week that he had to go over to the high school for. Because he does virtual school, he has to go over to our local high school when they do like their Florida state testing, because obviously they want to make sure they're not cheating, so they have to do those in person. And so both on Tuesday and Thursday this week, we had to go over to the high school, because on Tuesday he had an English testing, and then on Thursday he had algebra testing. And he had to be there for 7 a.m., which meant we had to get up around 5:30, because he needed time to get up, wake up. His ADHD meds take about 45 minutes to an hour to kick in. So we have to make sure we get him up early enough to take his meds right away so that they kick in by the time he gets there for his testing, so that he can concentrate on it. Which means that 2 days this week, I was up at 5:30 in the morning. And then on Thursday, after he finished his test, we picked him up and went directly over to Universal. So I was existing on about 4.5 hours of sleep. And then we went to Universal for 5 hours and walked a ton of steps. So by Thursday night, I was exhausted, like bone tired, body and mind. And I feel like I'm still recovering from that. I slept until, almost noon today. Yeah. Anywho, so my little journaling was basically just saying we went to the Islands of Adventure, we rode Velocicoaster and Hulk. Then we tried to ride Hagrid's Magical Creature roller coaster. The line said 70 minutes when we got in line, which is technically 10 minutes over what we're normally willing to wait. We kind of cap things at 60 minutes just because we have annual passes. We don't need to ride everything every time we go. So if the line is too long, we just ride something else and we try again the next time. So It was only 10 minutes over our normal limit. So, like, okay, Hagrid's is kind of worth it. It's a good ride. Unfortunately, the ride broke down while we were in line for it. So we actually ended up being almost 2 hours in line because we were sitting. It actually broke down twice. Then, and I didn't even journal about this because I didn't have room, but we get on the ride, right? And obviously the ride only seats 2 people. So we always have to split up. And sometimes, I'm the single rider. Sometimes Gary's a single rider. It's very rare that Lucas is a single rider because he doesn't like riding with strangers unless we actually do like the single rider line. And then obviously he doesn't have a choice, which we do that for some rides. For Hulk, we almost always do single rider because that line is always much shorter. And we also used to do single rider on Velocicoaster, but they took it away because they're stupid. And I don't know why, but anyhow, they took it away. So Gary and Lucas were riding together and they were in the car in front of me. And because on Hagrid, the seat is basically a motorcycle with the sidecar, like in the movies. And so you have one seat is on the motorcycle and one seat is on the sidecar. When you're in the sidecar, you're like down low, you're in a seat. So whoever rides in the sidecar always carries the bag because it's a small crossbody bag, which you are technically allowed to bring on. For Hulk and Velocicoaster, you can't bring anything on. There's lockers and you must put them in there. You are not allowed to bring anything on except like your lanyard or your sunglasses or something, but not even cell phones. They all have to go in lockers because you have to walk through metal detectors to get on. I understand that. I'm totally fine with it. It's for keeping everybody safe. Hagrid's doesn't have that because it doesn't go upside down. They only do that on rides that go upside down. So on that one, we always bring the bag on because it's small. It's fine. 2 people in line saw me wearing the bag and they're like, the bag is fine. Just make sure you're wearing it. Okay, no problem. So whoever sits in the sidecar takes the bag. We've done this maybe not hundreds of times because we've not written it hundreds of times, dozens of times. Never had a problem before. This time, I don't know if they changed the rules or this team member, which is what they call them at Universal. They're not cast members, they're team members, was just like extra cautious because normally you just kind of swing the bag off to the side or you lower the lap belt and put it over it. And as long as it's around your body, it's okay. This guy said that it had to be under the lap bar. So you had to be wearing it and it had to be under the lap bar. Problem is, the strap was not long enough for that. It was choking Gary every time he would try to put the lap bar over it. So they literally pulled Lucas and Gary off the ride. And they were in the last car of the train in front of me, and I was in the first car of the next train. So they weren't even close enough that I could understand and hear what was going on. I just saw them pull them off the ride. And Lucas being very upset, like very upset. But I couldn't hear or see what was going on because I was far enough back. So here I was in the front car of the ride, which is normally the best place to be. And you don't get to do it very often because Hagrid's is one of the only coasters that you cannot request the front line for, because it's a constantly moving coaster and the conveyor never stops. There's nowhere for you to stand to wait for it. So like on Hulk and Velocicoaster, they have a separate line that you can get into once you get to the front to do the front row, which we almost always do. But you can't do it on that one. So when you get the front row, it's exciting because you can't request it. So normally I would really enjoy that because it was only the second time ever I got to ride in the front. And I didn't enjoy it the entire time because I was worried about the boys and what the fuck was happening. Ooh, excuse my language. What the heck was happening? And turns out I get off the ride and I go down and I'm not finding them anywhere. I'm standing by the exit. I walked all the way down to like where the lockers were, thinking, maybe they were down there waiting for me. Could not find them anywhere. After 25 minutes of standing, Lucas comes down. Turns out that the guy pulled them off and had them put the bag. They have these lockers right by the ride. They're technically medical lockers. They're for people who have like things that they have to carry with them, but they don't want to take them on the actual ride with them. So say, for example, like one of those glucose readers. And it's more prevalent on, again, Hulk and Velocicoaster because you can't take anything on it. You would be able to wear your glucose meter right till you get to the front. Then you would take it off, put it in one of these medical lockers, and literally 3 minutes later, you're pulling it back out when you get off the ride. So you're not without it for very long. So instead of making them go all the way down, put something in the locker, and come back, they were nice enough to let him put the bag in one of the medical lockers. But then again, I did not know this was happening, so I didn't know where the heck they were. So that's why I was so concerned. And then because the guy felt bad for them having to get off and everything, he let them ride twice, which is why it took them so much longer to get down to me. He let them ride twice. Like they got off and then they literally got right back on the next train. And he even let them sit in the front. So Lucas got, the first time being able to sit in the front. So he was excited about that. But point is, I'm standing down there stressed out and worried, and they're in there having living their best life, riding the ride twice in a row. I was like, you guys suck. The funny part is, if I had been standing there, the guy actually looked for me and he was going to let me ride again with them. But I had already walked all the way down thinking they were going to be down there, so he couldn't find me. So I didn't get to ride with them the second time. I was down there stressed out and worried about them. I was like, that's rude. You all got to ride twice, and here I was worried about you the whole time. But anywho, so once we rode that, we were all just like, screw this. It's getting too crowded. Let's just go. So we ended up leaving after only riding 3 things. But I mean, I guess that is one of the advantages to having an annual pass. You can just go and ride one thing and leave if you want to. And in fact, I don't remember which week it is. It's one of the weeks in April. We literally did just that. We went and rode one thing and then left because it was just that crowded that we were like, screw this. We are not dealing with this. Trying to see what week it was. But yeah, there have been times where we did that, where we literally went and rode one thing and turned around and left because it was just too crowded. It's going to bother me now that I can't remember when it was. But anywho, yeah. And okay, looks like I'm almost done laying my stickers down for the week. And then obviously once I do that, I always go back and fill in all the empty spaces with like deco stickers, because I always have leftover deco stickers. And in fact, I'm even doing it a little bit. Oh, did I finish already? And I'm already going back and filling them in? Yeah, it looks like I did. See what happens when I get telling the story. And I wasn't even paying attention to the screen. So now I'm going back and filling in all the empty spaces with stickers. And I had a lot of empty spaces. In fact, I had more empty spaces than I had stickers left. So like some of these days are not even like, there's still big empty spaces because I ran out of deco stickers. And I guess I could have went and grabbed my sticker book and filled in more, but I was like, it's fine. It is what it is. I don't really need more stickers than that. But I did love how the week turned out. All these bright colors made me very, very happy. It's bright, it's colorful, it's floweristic, it's beautimous. Yep. And I will go ahead right now and say, because for some strange reason, there's usually sometimes that delay between my voiceover and the screen. So sometimes the screen is still going, and so I'm talking, but then I found out at the end that the screen had already stopped and I was still talking, because there's sometimes a little bit of a delay in there. I am using a different app now. I was using CapCut, but I opted to not be paying $25 a month for that anymore. And so I use Instagram edits for like my small videos, because you can only export up to a 10-minute video on that because it's technically part of Instagram. So I can't use that for my regular videos, for like my YouTube videos. So I am using something called InShot, which I've never used for videos before. So I'm not sure if there's going to be that delay, but just in case there is, I will go ahead now and say thank you for joining, and listening to me, babble for 45 minutes. And I hope that you enjoyed it. I will put a link in the box below to both this collection and to Courtney's website. And I can even link directly to the two, that's what I'll do. I'll link directly to the two stencils that I used. I'm sure I can find them on her page. One of them I ordered, the other one was a gift because I went to her Plan With Me and she was giving away things in her Plan With Me, and I won. It was a bundle of random, uh, a bundle of random stencils, and that flower was one of the random ones. But I'm sure I can find it on her website, and I can go ahead and link that one as well. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed and that you come back next week. I might actually have 2 videos next week because, again, I'm trying to catch up on the weeks I'm behind on. And had I not lost my voice this week, I would definitely have done 2 this week. But I was like, I can't even voice over this one. So I don't want to record another one when I can't voice over because my voice was gone. Like, it was gone. On Tuesday, I had a video call with my friend Tammy. We color together and chat, and that was about an hour and a half. And after that, I was fine during that entire call. And then, like, later that evening, when I started to do the voiceover, is when I realized my voice was pretty much gone. So I don't know what happened. I didn't talk any more than normal in that video. And I would have or in that video, in that call, and I would have thought if it had been that, it would have come back by the next day, but it didn't. It didn't come back at all until yesterday. And even now today, it's not completely back. You can hear it in my voice. It's not my normal voice. So I didn't end up doing 2 this week, but I am going to try to do 2 for next week just to try to get caught up because I don't like being this far behind. So you could be graced with 2 videos next week. So that'll be fun. And yeah, I'm down to Monday, so it looks like I'm almost done putting my stickers down. Looks like I have about 40 seconds left. So again, thank you for joining. Hope you liked this collection, like the video you saw, and I will catch you next week. And I'm just gonna babble a little bit until it says it's done and hope that it doesn't go over. This way you're not, hopefully not listening to dead air at the end, because this is my test to see if this one actually stays even, unlike CapCut, which never did. So anyway, have a great weekend, because this is Saturday I'm posting this.